It's AM 650 KGAB Radio, or you can find us online, kgab.com. My name is Glenn Wood. Thanks for joining me. Sitting in the studio with me is Wyoming Senator Anthony Bouchard, who's here to talk about several topics. So before I let you guys have at 'em with your phone calls, let me have at 'em for a couple of minutes. By the way, I've been making fun of you. I think it actually looks good. But the mustache, you got go with it. You going to start curling that at the end there?
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah.
It's the toughest time when it's growing because you're letting it get there.
Yeah, so. But then you got to start getting into like the mustache wax and all that kind of stuff. You're going to go that route with it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I heard the top looks good there too. You're getting stylized, in other words.
Oh, cool. Just trying to have a different look.
Yeah, no, you got to change it up every so often. I went for a different look. I lost 60 pounds. That's a different look for you.
Well, yeah, look, I couldn't button my blazer.
You've lost a few yourself there.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so the first topic we have here, let's go ahead and deal with the gun issue in the state of Wyoming. I saw a video that you had posted while you were driving. You do what I do sometimes. You pop a camera on and go live. So, city of Lander, did they have to back off on that ordinance? What happened there?
It looks like they figured out that they weren't supposed to do that because of the existing state preemption that's on the books.
Yeah.
And they actually had an emergency meeting and repealed it. So,
okay.
And this is where, when we start talking local control, we get people that really don't understand where a local government derives their power from, which is from the state.
Right.
The state is the ultimate power in a state government structure. Right. The other ones are political subdivisions.
Right. And
we see a police chief who gets elected to a city council and decides, oh, we've got to have more gun control. And then he pushes some kind of amendment. And they actually did this. When you look at the video, that they take the Pledge of Allegiance and, with justice and liberty for all. And then they move into, well, it depends on how you interpret the state law.
Right.
And then they pass an ordinance. And then they figure out a week later that we better, oh, wait a minute, we weren't supposed to do that, and they have an emergency meeting. That good news is that's when things are working right.
Yeah.
When they realized they made a mistake and they backed up.
So is this your bill that you have to just, again, it's already in the statute here. So how is this working, what you proposed here?
Well, kind of what happened in the whole UW debacle is that there is no law that would have prohibited the carry the day that happened at a GOP convention in Laramie, where we rented the facilities at UW. There was no law in the books to prohibit those guns. And sadly, UW now thinks it's a entity upon itself that is similar to the state. And they've taken taxpayers' money, fought the state preemption. And there's a 31-page ruling coming out of that court basically saying that the preemption doesn't apply to UW and they're the same as the state, and it just goes on and on.
Okay, because my thought was if they were a private university,
that would be different.
They can do whatever they want to do. But in fact, this is a state university. And so, well, then who makes the rules for the state? Because I can understand the board over at UW saying, hey, look, we're the board. We're in charge here. But so who has ultimate control then?
And this always comes back, I think, follow the money. Who pays for it?
Yeah.
Look, here's a similar case in Colorado where the GOP has a convention at the Budweiser Center.
Right.
And the Budweiser, they say all of a sudden, oh, well, you can't have guns in here. And then somebody says, well, wait a minute. Weren't there public funds used over here?
Mm-hmm.
And then oh, you're right.
Yeah.
So the whole thing with the Constitution isn't to limit private property rights or anything like that. It's to stop the government from taking your rights away. So when you have a public place, that's
in other words, I think one of the best ways I've heard the Second Amendment explained is it's saying to government, you're not allowed to write the law. Don't even think about it. You're just not allowed to go there.
Well, especially on something that's enumerated as a right.
Yeah.
So, look, and it goes beyond just the Second Amendment in Wyoming. The courts have opined that a state constitution can afford stronger protections than that of the U.S. Constitution. Mm-hmm. Wyoming Article 1, Section 24 says shall not be denied.
Right.
And if you go look at history and how it's worked out in other states, they usually come to a point and say, look, if you don't like it, change the Constitution. But until then, that's what it says. Now, don't get me wrong. We see some states that have taken that approach, and they've been very strong on their constitutional protections, and then we see other states that the darn courts are saying, well, these don't matter anymore because other states have taken them away. So I mean, you've got the courts, the judicial branch actually making law when they do that.
Yeah. All right. Now, what about then? The Supreme Court of the United States said, the Second Amendment, I mean, it's guaranteed. However, local municipalities can go ahead and make their own regulations. Wasn't that part of their ruling?
Yeah, and they use that here in Wyoming. I mean, the Democrat senator has used that on the floor, and I can kind of push back at it by saying, just like I said before, that those same courts have also said that the state constitution have a stronger protection, and Wyoming does that. So we have a little bit different concept here than, say, like in Iowa, for instance. They don't have a constitutional provision for the right to bear arms.
Right.
Wyoming does. So that puts us on different footing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. All right. So with what you have then, you're trying to get something passed. What is it exactly, and where is it? I mean, is it in a committee? Is it?
Whereas the bill is sitting in a committee, which will very likely kill the bill right now because and look, this is what really burns me. The whole system is look, we know that if you want to get a bill in, you pick the committee that will get the bill out, right? So you put it in that committee and you can get it out. And quite frankly, every pro-gun bill that we've ever put through the Senate has not gone in Judiciary Committee. And the reason there's a little bit different structure in the Judiciary Committee. I mean, there's always a Democrat in there. Right. You know, look, I think I know more, and you know this. I've worked on issues in the Capitol, many of them not gun issues, before I was in the legislature, you know, working to lobby and push freedom and liberty. And they don't put me on that committee. They don't want guys like me on that committee. Right. I mean, look, my first year, I was on one committee, and then they stuck me on this other committee. It was like the Artwork Contribution Council. Yeah. Because they don't want conservatives like me in these kind of committees that will actually look at the law and understand what we're doing. I mean, I was the only guy that fought in the legislature in the Senate, I should say, against a body camera bill that was actually morphed into a dash cam bill, where now you can't get that dash cam out of the police car. You got to go through the courts to get it. Right. That's not the America that I know.
Okay, so but let's go back to this bill real quick, and I got to take the first break. So this might actually just die in committee. You know, look, how are they going to do it?
Well, look, obviously, you know, I've got friends that fight for gun rights. I mean, I was the founder of Wyoming Gun Owners, and I'm not doing that now, but I turned that group over to people who are, I think, make me look like a pussycat. Yeah. So it's going to be the push to get that bill moved, and there's going to be a mirror bill just like we did last time in the House. And we need recorded votes. People need to understand what's really happening here is when it goes into a committee, we want to try to hide the votes from the people, or maybe make that bill go to sleep or time the whole process out. My job is going to be to keep pushing on the inside, and there's going to be people on the outside pushing as well.
All right, more with Senator Bouchard in just a moment. AM 650 KGAB Radio.
Right now, find your best lease deals at Laramie GM Auto Center. Bring in the new year. Lease a new 2019 Equinox for as low as $299 per month. Or how about upgrading to the midsize SUV, the Chevy Traverse, now leasing for as low as $399 per month. Find your perfect deal at LaramieGM.com or stop by our showroom today and see why Chevy and Laramie GM Auto Center are worth the drive. With approved credit, see dealer for details. Chevy, find new roads.
Totally transformed, the new 2019 Kia Soul has an eye-catching exterior with an interior to match. I'm AJ Miller for Kia of Cheyenne. The new 2019 Kia Soul has more to choose from, like available cool ventilated seats or heated seats for winter comfort. Kia Soul also has available technology like UVO, voice command navigation, automatic temperature control, and smart key with push-button start. Come by and compare Kia Soul today at Kia of Cheyenne or go to KiaofCheyenne.com and we'll make it easy.
Are you putting your retirement savings in a 401k, IRA, or investment account? Then I have one word of advice. Stop. Many experts warn of a stock market crash any day now. And if it's anything like the last 2 crashes, you could lose 50% or more of your hard-earned savings in the Wall Street casino. Can you afford to lose half of your retirement savings again? Hey, you don't have to lose a penny because there's a better, safer way to save for retirement. And you can learn all about it in a free report. This is the report Wall Street and big banks desperately hope you never see. Why? Because this method continues to grow your money even when the market tumbles. It lets you take back control of your money and finances, and it gives you penalty-free access to your savings. Plus, it beats the pants off any 401k or IRA. These are uncertain times, so get the information you need today to guarantee your retirement security. To get this free report, go to bankonyourself.com right now. That's bankonyourself.com. bankonyourself.com.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-601-7991. 800-601-7991. Don't wait. Call now. 800-601-7991. 800-601-7991.
Yeah, hi. Can I get the running board and grill combo? Make that chrome. I also like to get a couple order of tie downs and a large order of the floor mats. And yeah, and throw in a performance exhaust with a couple of racing gauges. That'd be great. And don't forget the lip kit, supersize. And a canopy. I'll see you at the next window.
Okay. D's Four-Wheel Drive at the corner of 15th and House Street, Cheyenne.
You're not alone in your fight to get out of debt. Help is around the corner with Dave Ramsey. Weeknights at 7 and Saturday evenings at 8. Only on AM 650 KGAB.
8:22 is the time, 29 degrees, AM 650 KGAB Radio. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. Sitting in the studio with me is Wyoming State Senator Anthony Bouchard. So we're talking about a piece of legislation he's trying to get through, which is, for those people just joining us, basically it would do what? What's the purpose of it?
So what it does is... look, Utah model with concealed carry is if you have a permit, you can carry in K through 12. That's also, it matches up with a provision on the federal gun-free zone for schools, college campuses, and also any government meetings or the places that are prohibited now. So it's gonna fix this problem where we've got this magic line where people cross over a government building.
The rules are the rules. So in other words, if I were to drive up to Chugwater, I don't have to worry about getting out of my vehicle and getting in trouble because the rules there were different.
Yeah, especially when it pertains to government. Yeah.
Okay. So now that it's in committee, but you were saying it's got problems in the committee. What's the problem, and where does the problem come from? Who's it come from?
Well, look, I've been doing this a long time. I mean, we always look at the committee and decide who is. When I was a guy on the outside, we always knew who was with us and who wasn't. And this is one of those situations where we know we got 3 people on that committee. They're going to vote it down or they're going to gut the bill. Mm-hmm. And so it's very disheartening because why don't we get it in a bill, get it to the floor for a real vote, and let's have the debate on the floor where people can hear it.
Okay,
so,
well, who stops that?
Well, the way that works is I certainly asked that it didn't go in that committee, and that fell on deaf ears, and so that comes from Republican leadership.
Okay.
And quite frankly, we tried to move it out of that committee. We had a floor vote yesterday, and you can see there's a tight-knit group of people that stuck with me, but it was like a 14-16 vote, and it's voted to stay in that committee.
Okay, where it'll probably just die. Okay, now I know we got listeners not just here in Cheyenne, but you know how this signal just spreads out there. Okay, so who would they call? I mean, how do you get it out of the committee? Is there anyone they can call?
Well, they could start messaging the people in that committee to get this bill out intact, get it to the floor for a vote.
What bill? What committee?
It's Senate File 75, and it's in the Judiciary Committee.
Judiciary Committee.
Yeah.
Well, how does it? Well, that just something confused me. How does it wind up in the Judiciary Committee and not in what committee should it be in?
Well, listen, Senator Hicks made a kind of tongue-in-cheek comment on the floor yesterday, and he called the Ag Committee, known for being the Agriculture and Gun Committee.
Yeah,
and that's because it's a conservative committee. And look, there's some idea that somehow the Judiciary Committee is better. Slated to do that kind of bill. That's not necessarily true. I mean, there's people on there that aren't lawyers, and there's people that are just like in the Ag Committee, and the Ag Committee can certainly make those same decisions and get the bill to the floor.
Right. Now, this is something that I've seen. I want to give people an idea of what goes on inside a committee, because I've sat there as an observer several times over, and I mean this literally. It was tough to stay awake.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to just keep nodding off. As you guys go through line by line, even word by word, and discuss every meaning, every possible comma, what are the definitions of the word in order to get the bill just crafted just so? And that's where it can be gutted, I guess. Huh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, when you think about these interim committees that I go to 2 days and I'm sitting there all day, and it drones on. I mean, some of the stuff is, I mean, a lot of times what you see, though, there's always an agenda. I mean, there's always an agenda for either one side to take words out or to make your words that mean something to be replaced with words that mean nothing, and to gut the bill. Look, what's really disappointing is when I even leadership voting. I was really shocked that I saw the president of the Senate yesterday vote with the Democrats, and it was the Democrats that stood up on the floor and said, "No, this bill can't get out of that committee."
Wait. What is the Democrats' objection to this bill? Why do they not want this?
That the judiciary is the smart committee to process this bill, because they deal with legal issues.
But when you consider what the bill does, though, I mean, is it back to that local control? They don't want to lose that local control where they can make their own rules?
Well, look, one of the things that I heard, the Capitol whisper things that going on, look, we found out that the WEA knew that we were trying to move it out of committee. So they had 2 days to get a game plan. So so that stuff that happened on the floor yesterday, it was all planned.
Yeah, pre-planned.
It wasn't
anything coming from the University of Wyoming to stop this bill. Can say that. I mean, let's face it. This is really where that all started.
I'm sure they're lobbying as well. I haven't heard that yet, but I'm sure they're lobbying as well.
Well, it just seems to me it would make sense that they would be lobbying to make sure that this doesn't pass, so they can keep their own rules. Okay.
Well, look, the WEA, that's the Wyoming Education Association.
Yeah.
I've got a picture of their president wearing a shirt that says Hillary, for Teachers for Hillary.
Yeah,
big Hillary shirt. And this is really what has happened. Academia has taken over and said that we look. You've seen the videos online where the people are chanting repeal the Second Amendment.
Right.
This is that thought process, and what's disheartening is we only have 3 Democrats in the state Senate. It's a Republican majority. Why are we having a hard time with a bill like this?
Okay. Well, now if this...
I do want to say I do thank the guys that are sticking with me on this bill.
Yeah.
And I think later, I think we need to maybe make that vote needs to be public. That one that happened yesterday.
Okay. So if this bill does die in committee, you always have a strategy as to what to do next. I mean, it's not like you're not ready with your next move.
No, there's a mirror bill that's going to come up in the House. So we get momentum in the other House, and if not, I mean, maybe the people will see that that there's a problem with the Republican Party.
Well, and then you're usually also pretty good at getting the public to go ahead and support you, and again call their representatives and so on. So you got a campaign working there.
Well, I don't do that. I mean, that there's. I mean, look, the NRA had 2 reps on the ground here even. So you've got Wyoming gun owners as an organization. You've got the NRA. This is a hot bill. This has been picked up nationally.
I've seen the stories. Last year when Everytown showed up, I thought that was hysterical. I mean, to me, that's great show prep, Anthony. I really love that kind of show prep, and I hope they show up again. I could use it on the air. It's great material for me.
Well, what kind of happened when they had their lobbyist registered from New York, a Bloomberg lobbyist?
Yeah.
They really kind of had to hide because they went, wait a minute, the optics look bad.
It does,
so they had to kind of pull back and then find more people to wear the red shirts.
I don't think they realize where they are. Okay, folks, more with Anthony Bouchard, because we're going to talk taxes, state income taxes. That's all coming your way next, right after news. So we got news, sports, and weather. Then we're back into it. AM 650, KGAB Radio, KGAB.com.